Hello, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is PookiesRevenge. We are live on a Wednesday. I forgot what day it was. Okay, so this is a split stream, so I'll be doing the first half of this in, well, not half. I'll do from 9:15 to 9:45, so right into market open. We're going to do this in the free section for YouTube, Twitch, all that good stuff. And then at 9:45, we're going to shift back over into the premium side of Discord and do some more live trading in there for everybody. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Yeah. So I was just looking at the VIX and the DXY very briefly. We are anticipating a little bit of a pop in the market, and I believe we're primed for a good short-term rally here. So I think this morning's CPI numbers kind of gave us a little edge on that this morning. So we'll see what we get from that. Let me go ahead and make sure I send everything. And let me open this chat for you guys as well. Okay. Spammer. Yeah, let's let's do that. Sorry, I just got to ban this user real quick. They like to get us to click their bit.ly links. Yeah, so I think we were expecting 5.0%. We got like 4.9 or something. It was very close. So that's pretty good news for us. All right, so let's go ahead and look at some stuff. We got about 15 minutes, well, 13 minutes, 12 minutes till the market opens. So I think the big question mark on the smaller ticker side is going to be Upstart. It ran up like 40-50% yesterday after hours, and then it's holding up pretty nicely so far. So we're going to keep watching that in the market open. I'm personally bearish, but we'll see. There's no point in trying to anticipate. And I don't really care which way it goes. We could trade it in either direction. You can see here I'm on the small account here. This is my small margin account. These are just holdings that I have like $10 in each one. It's just little tracker shares. When these are ready for entry, then I put them in the bot, and then I just wait for them to hit target or stop out. Okay, so I also have the daily watch list set out in my trading view here, and this is something I really just wanted to walk through for you guys. So these will be put in the bot from now on. They're not going to go, I'm not going to manually be posting those in analyst ideas anymore. They are formatted in the day trade channel now as a replacement for the previous daily watch list that was posted early in the morning. So you still get the same format. You just get bullish and bearish entries, and you get more stable stocks to do it on. So it's a little bit easier to follow, a little bit slower throughout the day. So that's the goal, is to move towards more stability. And yeah, so for these, the entry is typically sought on the 5 or 15 minutes. So these are just key level trades. They're pretty easy to trade, in my opinion. We're really just waiting for certain criteria to be met before we can take an entry, and then just kind of trading it in that direction as long as it's valid. So those of you who have been here for a couple of my streams, you guys already know what criteria I like to look for. But this is it's a trading view indicator that I just kind of scripted to help visualize this stuff specifically for the live streams. We have our bullish threshold here. We have our bearish threshold here. And we have the kind of halfway point between entry and target here. You don't really want to take an entry above that in most cases, because then you have an unhealthy risk reward. So that's kind of step one in managing risk. We also have down here a moving kind of midline. And that's not really a midline. It's just a level that I believe is, actually, which level is this? I can't remember. But anyway, every time there's a candle that opens below a threshold, in this case, we're about to see maybe Tesla. I'll kick it down to the 1 minute, see if we get a different. Oh, same. All right. But every time you get a candle that opens below, let's say the bullish threshold, for example, that means that the candle automatically has to close over the level by a certain amount if you want the majority of that candle body to be above the threshold. So we can calculate that before the candle closes. And if the candle doesn't close above that level and below this midpoint, we just don't have to take an entry. right? And then the final criteria, obviously, is we want increasing volume. So just a couple simple rules that I like to follow personally. This is obviously much safer after 10 a.m. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that on the chart as well. I learn how to count to 10. And the reason for that is because these are structure-based trades, which means that we need the price to respect structure. And during the first half hour, it is mostly respecting just volume and volatility. It's not so much respective of the levels. So that's why we typically like to look for entries after 10 a.m. That's Eastern time, so half hour after the market opens. All right, so I'll leave that up there. Let's switch back here and see if we can watch something into market open. I know we've got, I'm personally looking at Tesla and NVIDIA. NVIDIA has been very good to us. I believe Tesla is also going to be good to us today. And one of the first things we can do is just zoom out, right? This is probably the best way to approach any trade. So you can see here on Tesla, we've got a couple key levels up here. We have a nice strong level here. And we have a zone of contention, right? So if I'm trading Tesla, just knowing that I have these levels drawn out, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for levels between them that are wide, okay? I'm going to look for big distribution gaps, right? We know that a resistance line is a supply zone. That's people who have shares, they want to sell them. We know that a support line is a demand zone. That's people who have money, they want to buy stuff. And the distribution gap is the zone between them, where those transactions actually take place and the price action attempts to resolve and find that kind of balance. So in this case for Tesla, on the 4-hour chart, we got a big old gap there, and we got a big old gap right here. So where we punched up into this gap a couple days ago, and we never really, we never fell out of it. It held as a support level. So we're still in this big gap, and we've got a decent sized gap to the top side of that as well. As long as it can get good volume, I believe we should see a clean punch to the upside. But right now, we're kind of at the top portion of that, or we're near the halfway, maybe a little bit above it. Actually, let me just calculate that real quick. 838 plus 167.14 divided by 2, right? Because we're just trying to find the average. 172.76. So that's the halfway point between that entry. I'm sorry, the supplies, the demand zone and the supply zone. So we want to see an entry, a confirmation below here. I mean, this is a pretty strong candle on the 4-hour chart, but that's for a higher time frame setup. We're going to just have to see how far this kind of retraces and see if we can get like a pullback to this level would be nice, because this is a nice clean area right here. We got good volume each time it retests. We've got tests from both directions over time. So that's a good local level right there at 170.22. And that probably lines up pretty well with the fib. So that's dead in the middle of the 50 to 61.8% range. So we get good confluence at this level. So I think if we see a pullback, I drew my lines backwards because I changed the type. I'm sorry. This is what I'm going to be looking for, is a confirmation somewhere around here. But we'll see what it gives us. All right. Does anyone have any questions so far? The market's about to open. We got about another 5 minutes. So we're heading into auction cross here in about 2 seconds. So if you're watching, like, let's pull up SPY, for example. Very similar to Tesla, obviously. You know, overall. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know in the chat here. Let me also pull up the comments on our streaming service. Oh, what's up, Austin? Good morning. He's up early. Yeah, Shushy as well, man. It's been good having you around. I know you're kind of hit and miss because your schedule, but it's good having you here, bud. Good morning. All right. So actually, while we're waiting for the market to open, I'm going to go ahead and punch these levels in on my Webull so that we have them. So give me just 1 second here. I'm pulling these in right here. So let me just change this chart to a 4-grid. Get rid of the symbol at the time. We'll pull up Tesla, AMD, Amazon, and Netflix. So CrowdStrike is good. but I can only really pick 4 to watch at a time, and I don't want to go super crazy. So this is a margin account, so I will do, I'll try to get some day trade in here, but I do have that limit of 3 since it's a small margin account, so I can't exceed that that 25K barrier on a $500 account. So I have to obey the PDT rule here. Okay, so first thing, I'm just going to erase all the levels here, okay, because I've already done the work. I'm just going to draw 6 of these, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. And then I'm just going to put some targets in. Whoops. 77.90. I think Tesla's probably going to be my biggest watch for the morning, but we'll see what we get here. And you guys are all getting the watch list today. This is a free stream, so all your free members are getting the whole list as well. But we will we'll walk through it a little more closely with the premium members, so you don't want to miss out. Okay, and then the entry is 172.57, which is right around our 170.22. Yeah, I got to move this window over here to the side. Sorry, it's in my way. 172.57. So this is I'm looking for a retest and a hold of this level, which means this can be used as a bullish or bearish entry. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And it's going to be very risky trading anything into market open. And our goal is to be safe. It's not necessarily just to do stuff because we can. So we got to be very careful the first half hour. And I know that's not what everyone wants to see, but that's how we make our money, right? We got to be consistent with everything. 5. All right, so we got about another minute and a half, so I got to do this one pretty quick. 98. Their second bullish target here. I'm just plotting out these levels so that we can be ready for the day. Basically, that's the it's kind of the name of the game here. 95. Still, yeah, fumbling today. All right. And then that's going to be 92.97 and 92.14 for that one. I forgot my bearish entry. Jeez, I'm losing it. Okay. All right. 92.14. No, 97 on that one. All right, that'll be good enough. And then I can add them as we go if I need to. So I think the short-term opportunity here in the market open is going to be a very quick scalp on Tesla. Now, this is not going to be put in the bot because this is not something that I feel like everyone is going to be able to trade. And I probably won't trade this myself on this account. So it's going to be very high risk. This will be for illustration more than anything else. It's always risky going with these smaller contracts. And I believe Tesla also has potential to just keep pumping. So I don't want to commit to anything. But if I do see an opportunity here, it's probably going to be a Tesla put, just very short term. Just to see if it can come down and kind of get that retest at 170, maybe low 170s. Anything other than that, I'm not going to, yeah, it's probably just going to push. And at that point, again, I don't want to chase into something. So we'll just wait and see which direction it wants to go. We don't have to try to force anything. Okay. So if I'm a new trader, I need to understand the ways that I can manage risk. God, my alarms are going crazy right now. I'm sorry. Every morning. It's like bing, 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 bing. Yeah, so managing risk is our #1 job. And we can do that before we even look at a chart, right? And that's kind of where I think a lot of people get lost because they look at charts first. And that's what hurts people. So you got to be very cautious about where you're putting your focus when you start trading because your dollars will follow. And we don't want that to happen if it's going against you. So one of the best ways you can manage risk, and really the only way you can manage risk, is to just not put money in the market in areas that you don't have confidence. So before you even get into analysis and developing your strategy and all that, one of the best things you can do is develop a trading plan that deals with the money that you're spending and where you're going to put that. Sorry, give me 1 second here. I just want to make sure I wasn't muted. Okay. So sorry, yeah, I'll catch up on the chat here in a minute as well. Yeah, so if I'm on a $530 account, I shouldn't be taking contracts that are $300 or $200 because that's over allocating. If I've committed to only take 10% of my portfolio into any one trade, even if I take a loss, a heavy loss that's 100%, the maximum I'm going to lose is 10% of my portfolio rather than 30% of my portfolio. I can do that in theory up to 10 times before I'm washed out. So and that's 10 straight losses of 100% without a profit, right? So obviously the goal is not to do that, but we can at least set ourselves up to kind of survive if that ever does happen. So just watching Netflix here really quick as well. I just want to keep an eye on the volume. So I'm flipping back and forth between the tickers so I can get an eye on the order book and time and sales. Like AMD is probably about to rock and roll. So I'm just keeping an eye on that. Now, the behavior of each of these is different, so I have to kind of keep that in mind as well. Yeah, I think we might have just missed the AMD, and that's okay. Right? We don't want to chase things, especially in that first half hour. So let me catch up on the chat here after I draw these lines. This is all bullish sentiment here from the CPI. We got some good numbers. All right. Shah says, hi, which strike price we'll be looking into for calls or puts? Can we pre-decide on them in pre-market? Yes and no. It's always best to reassess them when the market is open, but you certainly could pick your strikes and your expirations and then kind of adjust a little bit because you're still going to have to incorporate IV and theta. And you're not really, the theta you can work in. That should be relatively straightforward in the market, in the morning anyway. IV kind of ebbs and flows, right? That comes in, it goes out. And that's just a volatility forecast for that contract. The likelihood that it may or may not hit target. That's something that you don't really want to try to get in front of because, reasonably, when the market opens, the IV is going to go up, right? And then it's going to kind of fall back off throughout the morning. And we know that for every 1% change in IV, the Vega gets added to the premium. So, the pre-market price, which is the closing price of the day before for a contract, might not be anywhere near the contract price at market open because of that. So you just have to be careful. What you don't want to do is just find a contract and then go as far out as you can to get the cheapest value and then hope to ride it into profit, because the further out you go, the less likely you are to hit that strike. So you got to be very careful about not just trying to chop the discount, right? So that's something we see a lot of with newer options traders as well. Yeah, so Tesla's pushing. I'm personally trading Tesla on a longer time frame, so I think the day trade here, the opportunity really was a pull down and a bounce off, which we just didn't see. So it's pushing up now. We'll see what happens at the 10 o'clock mark on that one. Amazon, I think a lot of people are going to be looking for puts just to catch a little pullback. Overall, I'm still pretty bullish on that one. It's just a pretty good strong run. Actually, let me see. I don't think I'll be able to trade anything on this account here. Yeah, this is way too much. I could probably go like 103, but there's just no volume on these, so I can't really trade those on this account. And that's kind of the point here, is that you don't want to compromise your trade quality just to fit your account, because that's how you get burned. You really should just be looking at the quality first and then seeing whether or not it fits your plan. And by plan, I mean your portfolio and risk tolerance and stuff like that. Okay, so AMD, I think, is also going to be a pretty strong one today. So AMD and Tesla are my two kind of, I call them my sugar jockeys. I probably shouldn't, but I'm sure that probably means something somewhere else in slang. But they're very strong, and they go with the market really, really well. So we'll see what happens there. And again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I got another 9 minutes on here with you guys, and then I'll jump into premium, and we'll get some more trades. I think I should actually take a trade here pretty soon, so I'll see if I can get some little Tesla put goodness here. But again, yeah, we're running into the same issue here. And the farther out you go with expirations, the more expensive the contracts get, which is something we also see a lot of people. They feel like they have to trade like 0 days or 2 days just to get in. And that is absolutely not safe. So please be careful. If you have a small account and you can't find contracts to trade, it's okay to pass. And again, we can always treat our portfolio like a savings account and just add to it over time. Even if you still only use a small piece of it to trade with or paper trade to get that experience, you don't want to throw your money away in the market just because you see contracts. Now, what my Webull is being super glitchy, so I'm not a big fan of that. It's saying the volume here is 0 on these, but clearly it's not. I mean, there's volume on both sides of these, so we'll see what we get. Okay, so I think I do need to turn the volume. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing the volume here. So let me go here, chart settings, and I'll see if there's a way that I can turn this back on. Yeah, it should be on. All right. Anyway, I'll turn the indicator on, I guess. Where's the volume? Volume is subchart, so it's going to be all the way at the bottom. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to a 2-chart setup, just because it's easier to see. So that's going to be Tesla and AMD. I got to get rid of this volume. It's terrible. There we go. So now I'm seeing the volume on the chart. That's all I really wanted. That's all I want in life. All right, let me look at the 1 minute just to kind of see what's up. So we're still looking a little bullish on that, so can't quite get an entry on that yet. Okay, so anyway, long story short, so if I'm trading Tesla, right, I've got my levels right here for Tesla. Okay, I got a bullish and a bearish, and we've got everything in the world we could want plotted out right here, nice and tightly. 172.57 is this level, and then I need to plot my 171.06 as a bearish threshold. 171.06, and I'll just turn to a red one. Okay, so this is kind of the zone that I'm looking for, but for an entry specifically, say for a bullish entry, I need to find that halfway point. Oops, I just moved my target. Jeez, I hate this. I hate Webull so much sometimes. 177.90. Okay. Even if you lock these in place, sometimes it still just jumps around on you, and I can't stand that. So I am going to go ahead and look for an entry here. Just look at, yeah, this is bullish though, so I'm a little sketched out. I feel like this is going to come down, and I'm basing that feeling on what I'm seeing here in the time and sales and the actual candle, the movement, the behavior of the candle. But the order book is stacked bullish, or was stacked bullish. So I believe this is probably going to come back, and we'll get that retest, but it's a little risky right now for just trying to get in front of that. Because it could just as easily just continue to blast. So I think the safer entry is probably going to be in the other side of the 10 o'clock mark. But we're going to go ahead and just keep an eye on these contracts here. Just kind of looking at the Greeks real quick and the volume and the open interest just to see what we can get. Okay, I'm thinking the 160 might be a little too far out. Because again, I'm just looking for a quick pullback. I'm not looking for a like a leap, you know. So I think I might actually bump it up. Yeah, I'm gonna look at the 160 and the 165 just in case I see what I like. I'm not seeing the same consistency between these, the order book and time and sales. Now this is rocking, so I might miss an entry here, but it's okay. because I don't feel confident in those entries. So it's very difficult for me to justify, especially in a small account. You know, I don't want to put a whole bunch of unhealthy risk on the table there. So if I do miss it, that's okay. Again, my goal here is to catch this retest and a confirmation to the upside for the higher trend, which will probably happen after 10, but that's okay. So yeah, that would have been the opportunity right there, I think, for a short-term scalp, but you know, that's not where we make the big bucks, right? So let's see. I will switch over to calls though, because I'd rather look at the calls earlier. And I think those 180s are looking pretty sweet. I've been kind of eyeballing these for a while. So we're going to wait for our retest and rejection. We're starting to see some support come in here. We'll just see if that's going to be strong enough. I don't think it is. I think it's still pretty bearish. But we'll see if that can be a potential local support. So let's go ahead and look at the 1 minute just to kind of get an X-ray view. This isn't something that we should be basing our entries on. And again, the goal here is to focus on quality, confident setups, not just catching little pullbacks and bounces and stuff just because we can. So yeah, so if we watch the 1 minute chart, you guys can see we're probably going to satisfy that 25% here. And for some people, that's, you know, that is a good scalp opportunity. It's a little tight range for me personally. But I think we're going to hit the 172 level, probably reject and then kind of hang out here for a little while and then release to the upside after we show some strength at this level. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. I would like to see that happen after 10 o'clock, but it is what it is. If I miss it, I miss it. I got about 2 minutes here before I switch over into the premium section. It's looking pretty strong. I don't know. We might just do this one in premium. We might just grab a contract there. Now, the interesting part here as well is that you see Tesla is moving down. It's finding support and bouncing. AMD is starting to fall off even harder. So there's some good put opportunity on that one. It's a nice wide range. But again, above this level here, we're really only looking for bullish entries, or at least I am, because if you look at the higher time frames, you know, the overall trend is to the upside and we have good, strong bullish strength. I don't want to really trade against the trend, at least for anything other than maybe a very quick trade. Okay, so we're going to hit our, we're going to hit our 25% pullback right here that we see about 90% of the time. Let me just see which of these is 171.45, so 40. So 171.40 will be the validated low. So this is theoretically where we should move our low point there. So that shifts our, okay, so there's our 25% pullback. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn on the 61.8. I'll turn on 50 and 61.8. Okay, so this is going to be the new level of contention for resistance. Okay, and then when it breaks above that, maybe that'll be an entry opportunity for bulls, but I'd like to see it break out, test, and then push, or hang out down here for a little bit, consolidate, and then push to the upside and just blast through that zone. Because then that would be our bullish threshold, which coincidentally is right in this area right here. So it's like interesting how that works, right? Because I say it's interesting, but all we're doing is we're playing key levels here. So the fact that it's one level here and one level here, and we're below the halfway point, we find a support. It makes sense that people are trying to buy in below the halfway point to try to play it up into this as a resistance. And we just happen to have a extension to the downside. And we get that 25% pullback 90% of the time. So it's very easy to kind of pick these out. Now, that's not enough though, right? We have to find the ones that have the best opportunity. And right now we're in an indecision zone. So I don't really want to jump into anything right now. But speaking of jumping into things, I do have to jump into premium. So I will end the free stream and I'll hop over into premium and I will join you guys in the lounge and we'll get some, I think we'll actually get into some trades here in a little bit. I think the market's starting to look a little more stable. So I will see you guys then. If you guys are watching the YouTube or Facebook, I'd love to see you guys as well. Even if you don't join Premium, you're more than welcome to jump in the Discord. And I will see you guys on the other side. Thank you and have a good day. Please be safe.